Hello, stepfathers. Today I want to share with you the rule of three. That is something that I use very, very often, that I apply to myself whenever I have to decide how pissed to get about something, how upset to be about something, and how to deal with things that are, for me, hard to cope with. We all know that resources are scarce, and our mental energy is one of them resources, which is, in my case, very scarce, hard to come by, and my mental energy feels like it's always on the low side of the tank. So what is the rule of three? The rule of three is I weigh against 3 hours, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, and 3 years. Whatever I come across, whatever I encounter that bothers me. And based on the rule of three, I decide whether to force myself to dismiss it, to let it go, to let it slide by, or whether to dedicate some time to figuring out whether this issue needs to be taken care of or let go. What is this supposed to mean? This means if somebody tells me off in a car, do I go for a road rage incident, or do I think, will this matter in 3 hours? And if it doesn't, if I know that it won't matter 3 hours from now, why bother it? Why bother now with something that I know will not bother me 3 hours from now? Let's say my wife gives me the cold shoulder for something and I'm hurt by it, and I think, will this worry me? Will this bother me 3 hours from now? Probably. So I give it some thought, then I give it another test. Will this bother me 3 days from now? I'm not so sure. Probably, but probably not. Will this bother me 3 weeks from now? No, I won't even remember. So I'll give it some thought, but then I'll dismiss it again, because I know that 3 days from now I might think of it, but 3 weeks from now I won't even remember. And so on and so forth with other things that happen, that could come up, that bother me. I give it the rule of three test. It's like passing it through sieves, through a strainer. Will this bother me? Will this not bother me? 3 days, 3 hours, 3 weeks, or 3 years from now. Some things that you know will bother you 3 years from now. A betrayal from a friend, you might think of it a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. Yes, I think that it will bother me for the rest of my life. So this is something that I need to address, that I need to pay attention to. I know that is something that needs to be looked at carefully. It can't be dropped. I could choose to drop it, but I know that it's something that will still be on my mind 3 years from now. Like, I know that somebody flipping me off in the car will not bother me 3 hours from now. It's a little gimmick, it's a little test that I use to pass things through, and I find that it gives me a lot of balance. It grounds me very much. It gives me a huge, great, and amazing sense of perspective. And I suggest that you use it as well, because some things are just not worth giving it a second thought. Think about that. Meanwhile, stepfathers, take care. Cheers, have a good one, and Godspeed.